I wanted to start recording to remind you that you will have access to all the YouTube videos to practice. You will always have access to me. So for those of you who have a Claris, you have a message button that comes straight to me. And so you'll always have access to that. And then you, for those of you who don't have that button, which I think everyone here does, so we don't even have to talk about that. Y'all know my email, my phone number. If you don't already have any Heart of Georgia Altamaha swag, I will soon send that to y'all as a thank you for participating in the class. And so you'll have my phone number if that's the easiest access. So just because we don't have class doesn't mean you can't call me whenever you need to. Ask any questions, even if you just want to check in with me, because you know we get pretty personal and close here on our class, so it's more than just learning Tai Chi. And so if you just want to touch base with me, it's always good to hear from you. And then you have your YouTube classes to review and help you practice. So
but you're not,
ma'am,
Jennifer, you're not going to do another class that we can participate in?
I will do a class. Most likely it will start in August. I'm just kind of guessing. Is Tuesday a good day for y'all?
It's a good day for me.
Okay. I know last year a lady had wanted a Wednesday afternoon, and I'm willing to do a Tuesday morning and a Wednesday afternoon to have 2 classes. We also tried to do a class that was a beginner class and a class that was a more advanced class, and the advanced class didn't make. We only had one person sign up for it, so we kind of shuffled around, and that Miss Arlene knows she was flexible and made 2 beginner classes. But the beauty of Tai Chi is that even if we're going over a movement that is brand new to Miss Sharita and old news to Miss Arlene, you can experience that movement in a different way by how referring back to principles. So if you're learning your commencement move, or even let's just really make it simple here. If you're learning the open and close move for the first time, and then you're learning here, it's a breath, it's an inhale that naturally opens your hands, it's an exhale that closes your hands. Pretty easy to learn that movement. But if that's old news to you, you can think about your upright posture as you do that movement, focusing on how you're holding your body. But the main thing that you can really work with there is gentle resistance, as if you're moving in water, as if you're moving in heavy air, as if you were moving through or pulling an accordion, pushing an accordion. And that's that gentle resistance that you can experience as you go deeper into learning the movements. So whether you're a new person or a person that's been around a while, you can do these same movements and experience them a little differently. Let's go ahead and get started with our warm-up, walking around your space, open and closing your hands. I'm in a new space today, and it's always a reminder for me to scan the floor and make sure there is nothing on the floor for me to step on or trip over. And sometimes it may be a pin that's so tiny I don't see it. So that's why it's important for us to wear shoes. Sometimes I know all of you are in your home, and so you may have a rule in your home that you don't wear shoes, and that's understandable for lots of reasons. But I recommend at least have maybe some inside shoes that you only wear in the house, and that just protects your feet, because Lord knows if you were to step on a pin, that would not be fun times at your house, would it? So we always warm up our bodies. We never want to start an exercise with cold muscles. That sets ourselves up for injury, and that just goes against everything we're trying to do here. And then we go from head to toe to stretch our major joints, starting with our neck. So we have our feet about hip width or shoulder width apart. Is a nice stable stance. Our weight is on both legs. We have that really good posture. It's almost like a string that pulls up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor, and our shoulders are nice and relaxed. Nice stable stance, good posture. Always a good place to start with our movements. So for our neck, we bring our hands up, palms down, towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies, and then follow our hands all the way down, feeling that slight stretch in the back of our neck. Hands up, towards our chin and chest, push away and follow those hands all the way down. This is another place we can think about gentle resistance as we move. Even as we, let me get to this point. Even as we pull our hands towards our chin, we can tuck that chin in a little bit, and it stretches that neck even more. So our other neck exercise starts out that same way. Hold on, I got Miss Sylvia coming in. Let me let her in. Y'all continue with your neck stretch towards that chin and chest. One hand comes down by our hips, still engaged. We follow that other hand as we look towards that shoulder, coming back to the front. We're not going as far as we can go. We just go until we feel that slight stretch.
That's the same lady.
Uh-oh. Hey, Miss Sylvia.
Hey, baby.
I'm glad you're here.
What you doing?
Nothing.
Continue to breathe as you go side to side. You may be able to go a little further. Hold on, I got background noise.
I'll make up my mind when I get there.
Oh, okay. Did that fix it? Okay. All right. Sorry, Miss Sylvia, I muted you. I thought it happened whenever you joined us, so I thought it was from you. Okay. Stretching that neck. Like I was saying, you may go a little further the third time that you do this movement than you did the first. And that's what happens as you stretch those muscles. They become more flexible and you're able to move them better. And that's why it's so important to stretch, if not every single day. Let's go to our shoulders. We have our hands on the sides of our legs and we roll forward, small circles, and then we roll back. Small circles. Continue to breathe. Sometimes we need to be reminded to take a breath. Because when we do something new and out of routine, we tend to hold our breath. Usually if I remind you to breathe, it's because I've caught myself holding my breath. Big shoulder circle. Bring those hands up. That's a great time to inhale. And then exhale as we push those hands down in front of us. Reminding ourselves to check our posture, make sure we're still standing upright, still supporting our weight on both of those legs. Have that nice soft bend in our knees so we don't have locked joints, which gives us song joints, S-O-N-G, open joints, and it helps the energy flow. Now for our spine, let's get our ball. We're going to separate the hands. The hand on top is going to push down towards the floor, still maintaining the soft bend in the elbow. The other hand comes up and pushes towards the ceiling. So we're pushing up and down at the same time. You should feel that stretch in your spine. Come back to our ball and other hand comes up, pushes towards the ceiling. Think about that good morning sunshine stretch. I thought about y'all last week when I was in class. On Tuesday, we did our seated Tai Chi, which I talk a little bit about here, but we'll explore some seated before we end class, just to give you an idea of how it works. So now we're back to our ball. The hand on top tells us which direction to turn. So we take and we move that ball just above that knee, switch our hands, and turn our torso to just above that other knee. We don't go as far as we can. If we were to go way over here, you may actually hurt your spine. You could hurt your knee. If you have any problems with your with degenerative discs, you want to especially be mindful of moving your spine. So this is a really small movement that stretches our spine horizontally. It also prepares us for our waving hands and clouds movement. Now for our hips. Now this is where we get serious about weight shifting. Have a chair nearby if you feel uncomfortable. Oh, Lord. It says my battery is, oh gosh, my battery is running low. That's not good. So I thought I had it plugged in, but I apparently don't. So let me regroup. Hold on just a second. Think about having a chair nearby, a table that is stable, even a wall. You know, okay, maybe that solved the problem. Even when I'm upstairs, you know, typically I have a wall to the side of me. That's a safety net. I have the table on the right side of me upstairs, and that's a good place for me to land if I feel myself losing balance. No shame in having a stabilizer for you as you go through these movements. You don't even have to rely on it. Just having it there sometimes makes you feel safer. So we're going to shift our weight to one leg. We're going to place our heel out forward and our hands back. Our body's upright this whole time. Come back to
Good morning, Arlene.
hands forward. And you see like a kickstand. If I were to go straight back, that would be the same as if my feet were right beside each other, and that's not a stable stance. So widening that stance a little as you helps you be more stable. Come back to center, shift the weight to the other leg, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Check your breath. Make sure you're not holding your breath as you challenge your balance. We have good days and bad days with our balance. We have good days and bad days with our joints. And so just pay attention to your body always. And if you feel like this is the day you need to do it seated or holding a chair, there's nothing wrong with that. Now let's shift the weight from side to side. We have our hands as if we're pushing a wall, and we push the wall in the direction of the weight shift. So I'm shifting that weight. When I shift the weight, I lift the other foot, tap it out, bring it back, switch my hands, shift, lift, tap, and bring it back. Pay attention to your posture. Make sure you're not leaning with the weight shift. It will be very easy for me to lean in the direction of the weight shift. So just be mindful. Anytime we're leaning, we're going towards falling. Sylvia must have left and needed to come back. All right, so that's for our hips. Now let's go to our knees. We make a loose fist. Remember, we never squeeze our hands when we're making a fist. Many of us have arthritis in our hands, and that would hurt if we were to squeeze. So when we have a fist, it's very loose. It's as if we are holding an egg that we don't want to break. Easter just passed, but I can't help but think about those Cadbury eggs. And if you had those Cadbury eggs in your hand and you were holding them too tightly, they would melt real easily. But if you hold them loose, they're less likely to melt. So we don't want to melt our Cadbury eggs. We want them to stay nice and firm. So loose fists. Oh. Now we're going to shift our weight to one leg. We're going to place our toe out forward and punch with that opposite fist. Bring it back. Shift the weight. Lift. Tap and punch. Bring it back. Shift. Lift. Tap and punch. Bring it back. Shift. Lift. Tap and punch. Let's do one more on each side. Shift the weight, keeping our bodies upright. Bring it back. Shift, lift, tap and punch. There you go. Now we're going to do our other knee exercise where we step out forward. Does somebody have on a tee? All right. All right, so now we're going to shift the weight. We're going to step heel toe, shift forward as we punch. Bring the weight back, feet side by side. Again, keeping our bodies upright. Shift, step heel toe. Now shift the weight as we punch. Bring it back, feet side by side. Shift, step heel toe. Shift as we punch. Bring it back, feet side by side. Remember, when we step out forward, it's an empty step. We don't immediately give weight to it. Then we give it weight, keeping that back foot flat on the floor. Bring it back, side by side. Now, yes, that foot in the back stays flat on the floor. That helps keep our good posture. As soon as we lift that back foot, it starts throwing our bodies forward, which puts us towards falling. Also, if we feel like we need to lift that toe, maybe we need to be mindful of how much weight you shifted to that front foot. So it's just a little weight to that front foot. If you were to look down, you would be able to see your toe. Your knee never extends outside in front of your toe. You'd probably feel it if you did it that way. It would hurt your knee. Now for our ankles. Shift our weight, heel toe, rocking that foot, heel toe. Helping with the flexibility of that ankle joint. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, heel toe. Anytime we have more flexible and strong joints, it helps us be more mobile. And that's what we're going for here as we do our Tai Chi moves. Bring that foot back. Now, let's go side to side. Big toe, little toe. It's a little more challenging of a movement of that ankle joint. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, and little toe, big toe. Side to side. There you go. Now give your body a little shake. Nice and stretched and warmed up and ready for our Tai Chi moves. Does anybody have any questions about our stretches? Okay. Well, you gave me a chance to get a swallow of water. So we're going to go through our basic 6 movements, and then we will begin working out on our brush knee movement, which is in our advanced. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go through our basic 6 to the right and then to the left. I'm going to do mirror image, and I'm just going to call out the name of the movement. Sometimes giving you less information tells you where you need to practice and what you need to work on. So follow me and we will go through those movements, starting with commence. And here we go. And begin. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. We were almost like synchronized swimmers. We were doing all that together. That was so pretty to watch. So now let's go through the movements and I'm going to talk you through them. We're going to do a mirror image again. Yes, Miss Sylvia. You have a question? Did you meet? You're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself. That if you can't figure that out, you can type it in the thing, like you click on chat below your picture and you can type something in if that's easier. I'll keep going, and if you figure it out, I'll see it pop up. All right, so here we go from the top. I'm going to talk you through it. And commence. Bring our hands up. As we come down, we shift right. Bring those hands in and up. Step. Shift as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift, step, push, turn, separate. Eyes following that left hand. Shift, bring that foot back, hands down, waving hands in clouds. Step right, turn right, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. To the middle for open and close. Single whip to the left. Shift right, step left, push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot back, hand down, waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Last time, shift, step, switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Questions about our basic 6? Y'all are killing this. Y'all must be practicing whenever we don't have.
I can see you now.
You see me now?
Yeah, I finally found.
Well, I spotlighted myself, so I should stay the big screen. But I might got lost on your tablet, Miss Sylvia. Sometimes.
Well, anyway, I see you and you see me.
Yes, ma'am, I see you.
Okay, we're right.
All right. So let's just talk about some of the parts of that movement, and then we'll move on to our brush knee. So something to remember about commencement. Our hands always face each other. As we come up, even though our hands are out away from our bodies, they're not lock joint out. So we're never Frankenstein. We got that soft joint. That's that song joint. So energy can flow through our bodies. So throughout the hand movement of commencement, our hands always face each other, which leads us to open and close, where they continue to face each other. So that's something about commencement. Another thing about commencement is when the hands come down, that's when that weight shifts to that right leg. So I think a shift as being a down movement. So when the hands come down, I shift to that right leg. Step, I bring those hands in and up. Now I'm fixing to shift weight to that left leg, and my hands go out. So there is a down shift whenever my hands come down, and there is a forward shift when those hands go forward. And so if you can break down that movement and feel the connection between the hand movement and the weight shift, then you're going to start becoming more continuous and smooth with your Tai Chi. And that is our goal, because that's one of our principles of movement control, is slow, smooth, and continuous. And I just did that movement, not mirror image. So those hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, bring those hands in and up. Shift left as those hands go forward. Bring the right foot beside and bring those hands back. So that gets us ready for open and close. Not a whole lot to say about open and close, other than it is a breath. So when we inhale, our hands naturally separate. And when we exhale, our hands naturally come towards each other. That's just if we do our open and close with the breath. We can make it more by doing that gentle resistance I was talking about, where we feel like we're pulling taffy or pulling an accordion and pushing that accordion through open and close. Another thing about that movement, it's so simple. And it's not so much important when we do it the first time, but later as we do open and close after our waving hands and clouds, it gives us an opportunity to do a foot check. It allows us to say, are my feet too close together? Maybe they are. Maybe they're too far apart. Tai Chi helps give us body awareness. So if we realize our feet are in the wrong position outside of that stable stance, then just say I'm here. Just say I realize my feet are too close together, and when I open and close, I make the adjustment to my feet, and that gets me ready for that next move. So open and close can be used to do that quick body awareness check to make sure that your body's in a nice stable stance that decreases your chance of falls. So that's some things about open and close. single whip. When we shift and step out. After we step out, we step with an empty step, meaning we do not give that foot weight immediately. But when we adjust the weight, we adjust it to about 50-50. Some say 60 on that back leg and 40 on the front leg, but that's close enough to 50-50. You adjust the weight, and that gives you that staggered stance. That is a stable stance. As you do the whip portion of that movement, putting your hands forward, turning them away from you, and then separating those hands. When you separate those hands, it's as if your hands are going down a wall. So that imaginary wall, your goal is to go down that wall, and your eyes follow the hand opposite of the foot that you stepped out with. Okay? So it's shift, step, push, turn, separate, following the hand opposite of the foot you stepped out with. So that's the general rule of our single whip. When we get to waving hands and clouds, some of y'all weren't here 2 weeks ago when I showed y'all my updated cheat note. And so I think it's backwards to y'all. If it's backwards, I'll put it close and read it to y'all. My camera will focus. Let's make it. Oh, there it is. So there's my 4 words: step, switch, turn, shift. It's very similar to my old cheat notes. I just updated it because it was a little bit out of order and not as easy to read as this. Out beside step is empty. And an empty step simply means when I place my foot on the floor, I do not give it weight. Switch, this says change hands, because that's what we're doing when we switch. Turn, and then the small word says wave. So when we do waving hands and clouds, it's not a wave. I'm simply placing my hand out there, and it's going along for the ride. So it's more of a turn than a wave. So our final warm-up where we're holding the ball and we're turning that torso is the perfect lead in to waving hands and clouds because it's that same torso movement. So that's why I like the word turn better than wave, because we're actually turning our torso. All right, and then the final is shift. Well, what are we shifting? We're shifting weight. So step, switch, turn, and shift. There's our cheat sheet. And then you see where I've drawn brackets to put step and switch together, and then brackets to put turn and shift together. That's because when we first learn it, we're breaking it into 4 parts. As we practice, as we have a goal of smooth and continuous, we start combining movements. So we step as we switch, and we shift as we turn. We step as we switch, we shift as we turn. All right, so that gives you a new cheat sheet to think about. I always encourage having that in front of you on a wall so that your brain doesn't have to work any harder than it already is, and it helps you learn your movements of Tai Chi. So let's say we're coming from that single whip movement. My eyes are on the hand opposite of the foot that I stepped out with, right? Bringing this foot down, hand down. I'm going to step, then switch my hands. So the hand that was up comes down by my hip. This hand comes up cross body like a sash. Now we're going to turn, then shift our weight. Shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift. Last time, step, switch, turn, and you can shift and then bring it back to the middle for our open close. So that's breaking it down into the 4 parts. Fan and sticky note signs aren't being friends, y'all. All right, but I'm thankful for that fan regardless. Okay, so let's start putting it together where I'm coming from that single whip. I'm going to step and switch, shift and turn. 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 Step and switch, shift and turn, and to the middle for open and close. So the more you practice those 4 words, you can start combining 2 at the time. And then before you know it, you will be a slow, smooth, continuous Tai Chi master, and you will look like this, where it's all together, flowing from one movement to the next. So that's just like when we learn to read. We go from being very choppy, learning the sounds of letters to make words, to reading with no problems. So those are our basic 6. Did that spring up any questions for y'all? I knew y'all had it. So let's do it one more time, our basic 6, and then we'll go to brush knee. So together, no talking. This gives us an experience of Jing, J-I-N-G, which is the mental quietness that we can receive through Tai Chi. Check your posture. Where's your weight? You have a nice wide base, stable stance. And begin. Open and close. Sing. Oh, so much for being quiet, huh? Very good. So next for our advanced movements, we have brush knee. And when we do our basic 6, we single whip, waving hands in clouds to the right first, and then we do it to the left. Our advanced movements are opposite. We go to the left first, and then we go to the right. So we are starting out facing forward, and our goal is to face to the left. And we can't just jump to the left. That wouldn't be very Tai Chi. So we shift our weight, move our feet one at a time until we are facing to the left. So we're coming from open and close. Our hands are facing each other. We shift left, right toe in, lay our hands. Shift right, bring that left foot back, separate our hands. Step left, shift as we push and follow step. So that got us going from the front facing the left. Just our feet. What do our feet do? We shift left, turn that right toe in. And I think of that toe as kind of an arrow, like that's the direction that we're going. Eventually this left foot is going to, or this right foot is going to be our back one. Shift, prepare, step, shift, and follow step. Sometimes people have problems with their knees and you may need to add an extra step in there. For instance, your leg might not like the feeling of turning that foot in. So instead you can shift left, step out with the right foot, shift, and then step, and that widened your base a little bit, gave you a little more area to move in. Main thing is that you're listening to your body. Sometimes we're going to have a little discomfort. Discomfort we can work through. Pain, especially something that's a very sharp pain, one that makes you just feel like you need to wince, buckle, sharp pain. That's not what we want to work through. We want to listen to our bodies and make an adjustment. So however you need to step, whether you need to widen it out, shift, step, here, we have permission to modify to take care of ourselves because safety is number one. So the footwork of brush knee is shift left, right toe in, or however you need to modify, shift left, and then I bring my left foot back, and that prepares me to step out in that direction towards the left, shift left, and then follow step right. So now that put me in that direction. Our hands are here from open and close. And I always call this lay hands. It makes me think of dominoes here. So I'm taking my left hand and bringing it towards my elbow. And that helps protect my elbow. Keeping in mind that this is a base in martial art. And we protect our elbow. Our right hand comes here and basically lays out forward, palm up. Our left hand lays over to protect our elbow. So it's hovering just above it. It's not on top of it. It's hovering just above. That's what our hands look like from the front. Here. So we're here when we shift the weight. When we turn that toe in, that's when we lay that hand. So you can practice that first part of that movement. Shift, toe in, lay hands. And just feel how that goes together. Here. And you're pivoting on your heel. Here. So all your weight is on your left foot, but you're pivoting on your heel. Shift right. And then I'm going to pull my left foot back to prepare. And when I do that, I separate my hands. So this hand stays forward. This elbow protector hand comes down more about my hip. That's the part where it gives you the name of brush knee. Step, hold on. Shift, here. See that right there? Brush knee. In a martial art, somebody's coming at my knee and I'm pushing their foot away so that I'm not going to allow them to kick me. That's where the this movement comes from. So I'm brushing my knee here. So your hand ends up down here by your hip. The whole time, your right hand stays laying out forward. So it's shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, separate and prepare. Step left. Now as I shift, this right hand is going to come turn and it's push as I shift the weight, then follow step. The advanced movements, you can really see the martial art aspect of these movements. Because if somebody's coming at me, I push in the way, that makes me angry that they came at me. So what do I want to do? I want to come at them, and there is a punch with the heel of my hand. So that's where that's coming from. So you can channel that martial art in you. Nice, smooth, get off my knee. And how about you like some of that? Boom. So do you feel that? It kind of feels like you're in the slowest fight you're never going to have, right? Brush knee, shift left, right toe in, lay hands, shift right, separate, prepare, step left, shift and push, and follow step right. The whole time I kept my body upright. We don't want to lean into that push, because once we lean, we'd be a whole lot easier to attack. So we keep our bodies upright so that we're more stable. So that's what it looks like from the front. Let me go from this side. So this is my front. Shift, turn, shift, prepare and separate, step, shift and push, and follow step. So that's what it looks like at the end of that movement. My body is up. My body is upright. Any questions about brush knee?
No, that helped.
Okay, good. We do brush knee on both sides. So before you get real comfortable doing your brush knee to the left, try it to the right. And it's exactly opposite. So we shift right, left toe in, lay hands. Shift left, separate, prepare. Step right, shift as I push, and follow step left. So as you practice brush knee, that second one, the one you learned second, feels a little awkward because you were getting really good and comfortable with the one to the left. So practice it both ways. Shift, turn, lay hand. Shift, separate, prepare. Step, shift as I push, and follow step. And then practice it the other way. Shift, toe in, lay hands. Shift, separate, prepare. Step, shift and push, and follow step. It's the most complicated move in our advanced 6 because we're changing direction. And that's what makes it feel complicated. So just practice those moves. Our next move is play the lute. And play the lute looks like this. Let me show you. So I just did here and follow step. Our follow step foot never gets weight. The follow step foot is a period at the end of the movement, but it does not get weight. It's an empty step. The heel is down, but it's not flat on the floor. The only space under that heel is enough space for a piece of paper. That's how very little that space is. But that heel down is important because it grounds us, it helps keep us stable. We have a follow step foot at the end of every move in our advanced 6. And that follow step foot is the next foot to move. That's why it doesn't get weight. Now, for safety reasons, if you need to give it weight, that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. Safety's number one. So if you need to give it a little weight, that's fine. Just know you have to remove the weight so that you can move that follow step foot. So you have some choices to make. Safety first, listening to your body. But a general rule is your follow step foot is the first step of your next movement. So we just finished brush knee. We're going to step back with that follow step foot. And we didn't step back very far. Really, we lifted our foot and put it down like just tiny bit behind. Your feet may have been far enough apart when you finished the follow step up brush knee that you didn't need to move your foot at all. You just lifted it and put it right back down. That's body awareness, knowing where your feet are, even without looking at them. That happens over time after practice of Tai Chi. When did I notice it the most? It's when somebody recorded me on a video and I saw how close my feet were, and then I didn't even realize it, but I started making the adjustment. If you have an opportunity to do your Tai Chi in a mirror, that's a great place to do it because you can immediately see where your feet are and that you have a nice wide base versus your feet are too close together. Sometimes you may think they're farther apart than what they really are. We don't generally look down because looking down is going towards falling, and that goes against what we're trying to do. So this is really the big lesson in body awareness, where we have our feet, trying not to do too much. So that follow step foot comes back, then we shift, and then follow step. It's hard to tell on the video, and I think I'm at a weird angle because I am at an angle. I'm not straight on this wall. But when I shift, follow step, maybe a better view, my toe and my heel are about in the same line. I don't recommend you doing this, but this is what I'm talking about. I should be able to move this foot behind the front foot and not hit my foot, if that makes sense. So it's not anywhere beside the foot when I follow step. It's behind the foot. In class, our teacher had us moving to check our line. And if our toe hit our heel, then we were too close. That's good to check yourself if you have something stable to hold on to. But I don't generally recommend that. Shift, follow step. So we had the brush knee, follow step. For play the loop, we step back, shift, follow step. And I didn't do anything with my hands yet. That's just to show you the footwork of play the loop. The handwork of play the loop looks like this. We're here at the end of brush knee. We're going to turn our hands. And then we're going to pass them. So we get that hand to the elbow. So we started here. We turned our hands. As we shift is when our hands pass. And I stop when I get to that elbow. Remember, we're always protecting that elbow in this fight we're not ever going to have. So it's brush knee, done, step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, and when I get to that elbow, I follow step. So that's play the lute. It's almost like a harp, isn't it? So I'm here, turn, shift, ring, protect that elbow. So this is my strings, and this is my hand. Imagine that. Can you imagine? There, just like that. That's the play the lute. Let's put those two together, and then we'll pull down. Brush knee, shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift, separate, prepare. Step, shift as I push and follow step. Play the lute. Step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, get to that elbow and follow step. Again, as you're practicing your brush knee to the right, you can add that play the lute in too. Shift right, left toe in, lay hands. Shift left, separate, prepare. Step, shift as I push, and follow step. Play the lute. Step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, get to that elbow, and follow step. I just noticed I stepped back too far. You know how I knew I stepped back too far was when I went to go bring my right foot back from the play the lute, that follow step, I had to kick off the floor. That's usually your number one sign that you have stepped too far out. I think the angles are messing with my head too as I'm watching myself in my kind of like a mirror. But I brush knee, step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, and follow step. So those are your first two movements, and you can practice those on each side. Any questions before we give ourselves a nice fist massage? We'll work more on our advanced movements next week. I feel like we've done a good teaching and review of our basic six, giving you opportunities to ask questions. If you ever need to go back to it, we can. But let's move forward and really focus on our advanced six. If you get a chance to practice this week, come at me next Tuesday with what questions you may have about those. Brush knee and play the lute. You can practice the advanced six on the videos. There's a video that has all of them, and you can just stop whenever you get to the part you're not familiar with. There is an individual video about brush knee, but not yet one for play the lute. So here we have our nice fist massage. Now let's get our stable stance. Tighten those muscles, gather tension. We don't like that feeling. Let's let it go. Inhale and hold. Exhale and release. Inhale and hold. Exhale, release. So this is our gather and release. It's our reminder to not hold tension. Big circle, inhale up and push down in front. Inhale up and exhale down. One more. And exhale. And to end, we have our right fist, a loose fist that represents our strength. We have our fingers together in our left hand representing our friendship, our thumb in representing our humility. So strength, friendship, and humility. We put those together and salute in mutual respect. We say namaste. All right, y'all good?
All right.
All right, we'll do it again next Tuesday, but as I always tell y'all, feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions. And you know, whatever you have, I can help you through it. Message me on the Claris. If we need to do an individual video, I can do that pretty easily. So just let me know what you need, okay?
Okay.
All right, y'all take care. I love y'all.
Love you too.